When you think of Orange County, or the OC as the kids might say, you think of sun-soaked beaches, upscale shopping malls, and reality TV drama. But dive a bit deeper, and you'll uncover the foundational saga of the Irvine family, whose old money financial brilliance and quiet logistical influence sculpted this iconic region from the ground up. Certainly, their foresight in land development not only crafted the physical landscape of cities like Irvine, bearing their name, but also laid the groundwork for the thriving economic powerhouse Orange County is today. In this episode of Old Money Luxury, we'll take you through rolling acres of farmland as they change into master-planned communities, agricultural fields morphing into bustling suburbs, all under the strategic vision of one influential family, as we describe, the Irvines, old money family who built Orange County. Once upon a time in Orange County, California, or the OC, the Irvine family's landholdings were not just extensive, they were legendary. Indeed, the Irvine Ranch, as it was called, sprawled over an astonishing 110,000 acres on a mammoth tract of land that stretched a jaw-dropping 23 miles, from the shimmering Pacific Ocean to the Santa Ana River. Impressively, nearly a third of what is now Orange County was under the Irvines' domain. But the Irvines were more than just land barons. They were master strategists and community pillars, eventually granting SoCal their surname for the city of Irvine, California. And in a move that would etch their name in educational history, the Irvines Ranch was chosen in 1959 as the proud site for the new University of California Irvine campus. This wasn't just a nod to their influence, but a cementing of their legacy through the hallowed halls of academia. And the family's gift of Irvine Regional Park to the OC was similarly thoughtful. Now, trying to pin down the Irvine family's net worth during their heyday of landholding supremacy is a bit like trying to catch a cloud. Elusive, yet undeniably substantial. The sheer scale and fertility of the Irvine Ranch alone suggest a fortune of considerable magnitude. And if we fast forward to modern times, the family's Irvine company still looms large as a titan of real estate, albeit with leadership outside of the direct descendants. Enter Donald Bren, real estate mogul and Irvine company's linchpin in the late 20th century. With a personal net worth pegged at a cool $18 billion, Bren's financial clout is a monetary symbol of the enduring value and high stakes of the lands once ruled by the Irvine family. Thus, through strategic investment, philanthropy, and an unerring knack for land management, the Irvine family not only dominated the land, but also sowed the seeds of education and prosperity that would bear fruit across one of America's most legendary, well-to-do counties. And yet, the rags-to-riches tale of the Irvine family ancestors doesn't begin on a ranch or in a wagon on the Oregon Trail. In order to find out how this legendary family started off their empire, we'll travel back across the Atlantic to what is now Northern Ireland. The Irvine family's saga is steeped in the storied legacy of a people known as the Scots-Irish in the United States. A resilient early American group who journeyed from the rugged landscapes of Scotland to the verdant fields of Ireland's Ulster province. There, amidst new communities, they wove their steadfast traditions and fierce spirit into the fabric of their new homeland. Yet, the call of distant horizons was irresistible, and it wasn't long before the Irvines, like many from their community, set their sights on the expansive possibilities of America. Born into the harsh realities of 1827 County Down Ireland, James Irvine emerged at a time when the shadow of Ireland's great famine loomed large, a devastating blight that would soon drive millions from their homes in a desperate bid for survival. In 1845, with the famine gnawing at their heels, James and his brother William embarked on a perilous journey across the Atlantic, their hearts heavy with loss, but alight with hope. Landing in the bustling, chaotic ports of mid-19th century New York City, James initially took employment at a paper mill, a stepping stone that helped him amass the initial capital necessary for future endeavors. Then, his next move was bold and transformative. In 1848, he ventured west to partake in the California gold rush, an event that would lay the groundwork for his family's long-standing influence in California. Now, James Irvine's approach to the gold rush was distinctive. Instead of mining, he chose to establish himself as a merchant, supplying the miners, a decision that not only provided immediate profits but also stability. But his knack for business didn't stop there. Irvine shrewdly invested his earnings into San Francisco real estate, significantly expanding his financial portfolio. By the 1860s, Irvine's success had catapulted him into the ranks of San Francisco's elite businessmen. He then entered into a lucrative partnership focused on sheep raising in Monterey County with Dr. Benjamin Flint and others, and this venture capitalized on the heightened demand for wool during the Civil War, proving immensely profitable. Irvine also joined forces with Flint, Bixby and Company, becoming a silent partner. You see, parallel to Irvine's life, the Bixby family, James Irvine I's cousins, had emerged as significant figures in the regional landscape of Southern California. And their influence was largely through strategic alliances and business acumen that saw them control vast tracts of land, much like Irvine. The Bixby family's legacy in California is deeply interwoven with the state's development, with their name enduring in various locales such as Bixby Hill, Bixby Knolls and Bixby Village in Long Beach, as well as Bixby Park. These places not only serve as residential and recreational spaces, but also stand as enduring markers of the Bixby family's historical and cultural contributions to the region. Thus, the collaboration between James Irvine and Flint, Bixby and Company is a significant chapter in the old money history of Californian families, and subsequently, in collaboration with his cousin, James Irvine founded a ranch sprawling over 185 square miles. And subsequent acquisitions, including Rancho Lomas de Santiago in 1866, expanded their holdings. That particular ranch, primarily rugged and hilly, previously served as a sheep ranch under William Wolfskill's ownership. Despite these rapid expansions, Irvine and his partners diverged from the common real estate practices of their time, such as parceling out land for quick sales. Instead, they focused on determining the most profitable agricultural applications for their extensive land holdings, and by 1876, Irvine had bought out his partners, taking sole control of the 110,000-acre ranch, which he then continued to develop and diversify. This consolidation was crucial, as it allowed for greater management and utilization of the land, transitioning from cattle to more profitable agricultural ventures such as citrus and lima beans, which were more suited to the local climate and soil conditions. Therefore, through these ventures, James Irvine I not only secured his family's financial stability, but also laid the groundwork for the transformation of a significant part of California's landscape. However, it was through his children that the legacy of James Irvine I, from the foggy shores of Northern Ireland to the sunny skies of California, would be forever embossed into Californian lore. James Harvey Irvine, Sr., James Irvine's son, born in San Francisco in October 1867, would soon emerge as a formidable force in the evolution of Irvine Ranch, propelling it into a prominent agricultural and commercial stronghold. Orphaned of his mother at 7 and his father by 18, Irvine II was thrust into the responsibilities of land management under the watchful guidance of his uncle George Irvine, following his father's demise in 1886. Then, this period of trusteeship culminated in his full inheritance of the ranch at the age of 25, and when he was faced with an initial attempt by trustees to auction the estate, which was subsequently ruled illegal, James II assumed control with a determined vision. By 1894, his strategic foresight led to the incorporation of these holdings into what would be known as the Irvine Company, a move that would solidify the family foundation for a prosperous venture that would span several decades. Irvine II's tenure at the helm was characterized by a hands-on approach, with James often recounting the rigorous demands of managing such an expansive estate. He described the extensive journeys across the ranch, which involved daily rides of up to 40 miles to oversee the vast expanses of land and livestock under his care. James Irvine II also played an instrumental role in the establishment of the city of Irvine. by granting the city its name. Thus, when James passed away in 1947 at age 80, his son, Myford Irvine, assumed the mantle of presidency over the Irvine Company, marking a pivotal shift for the sprawling ranch, wherein it would transition into a full-fledged city. You see, the late 1950s heralded the inception of Irvine's architectural and urban planning, spearheaded by Los Angeles architect William Pereira and Irvine Company's own Raymond Watson. They conceived the city of Irvine as a collection of distinct townships known as villages, each encircled by 6-lane thoroughfares. Uniformity defines these villages with their residential styles, commercial centers, places of worship, and educational facilities. And these commercial hubs are meticulously positioned to create a well-defined edge around residential zones. Now, Pereira initially proposed a city plan with a radial structure, focusing on artificial lakes and a central university as its core. However, a shift in strategy led to the abandonment of using central farmland for the university, prompting its relocation to the southern coastal hills. The subsequent adapted city layout, evocative of a necklace, features villages strung along 2 parallel main streets, converging at the University of California, Irvine, and this university serves as the city's centerpiece, or pendant. To this day, the influence of this layout is prominently visible in the UCI campus and the dual artificial lakes in Woodbridge, one of the key villages. Furthermore, Irvine's design was heavily influenced by the era's car-centric philosophy, resulting in a cityscape where vehicle travel prevails with scant attention to alternate modes of transportation. Residential zones are bookended by major commercial districts, with the Irvine Business Complex to the west and the Irvine Spectrum to the east. These zones are not only economic linchpins, but also vital social locales that have nurtured Irvine's evolution from a mere ranch to a bustling urban hub. Additionally, in Irvine, the attention to landscape integration is unmistakable. Streets are lined with generous landscaping buffers, and the city uses reclaimed water for irrigation, showcasing its focus on sustainability, with rights-of-way for power lines doubling as bike paths, parks and green belts, linking together various ecological preserves. Thus, as Irvine continues to grow, the foundational plans laid down by the Irvine family, Pereira and Watson, remain influential, guiding the city's expansion and the meticulous orchestration of its urban landscape. And yet, the family legacy would continue as James II's daughter, Joan Irvine Smith, would influence the city of Irvine, particularly with regards to the university in town, in the next generation. Joan Irvine Smith, born Athalie Anita Irvine on the 1st of July 1933, stood as a towering figure in philanthropy, the arts and equestrian training, also inheriting a significant part of the Irvine family wealth. The only daughter of James Harvey Irvine II and Athalie Richardson, she was thrust into the world of corporate and civic responsibilities from a tender age, and her life was marked by an educational journey that included time at Westridge School and brief stints at Marymount College and UC Berkeley, setting the stage for her later endeavors. And her father's death, when she was merely 2, and her grandfather's passing in 1947, placed her at the helm of a minor yet pivotal stake in the Irvine Company, marking the beginning of her enduring and often contentious relationship with both the company and the Irvine Foundation. Despite being a major shareholder, she initiated legal battles seeking a larger portion of shares for herself and her cousins, illustrating her formidable presence in boardrooms. Specifically, in July 1962, she brought a lawsuit against the Irvine Company, claiming $1.2 million for losses tied to a real estate deal that she argued was mismanaged, a transaction that involved swapping a substantial parcel in Orange County for agricultural land in Imperial County. This legal action, announced with considerable public attention at the Mark Hopkins Hotel in San Francisco, underscored her readiness to challenge corporate decisions, setting a precedent for her leadership style. Beyond the realms of corporate disputes, Irvine Smith's most enduring legacy perhaps lies in her crucial role in the establishment of the University of California, Irvine. But her contributions were not limited to the mere donation of land. She was instrumental in the university's location planning and engaged deeply with the academic community. Her interactions with UC President Dr. Clark Kerr and her discussions at industrial conferences highlighted her vision of directed imagination, a concept that bridged visionary academic planning with practical implementation. Therefore, the University of California, Irvine, owes its existence significantly to her efforts, as noted by UCI Chancellor Howard Gilman, who acknowledged that without her, the institution might never have come to fruition. Interestingly, her influence extended into medical research through the establishment of the Reeve Irvine Research Center at UCI, dedicated to spinal cord injury research, inspired by actor Christopher Reeve's tragic accident. Having passed away only recently, it would seem that Joan Irvine Smith would lay claim to the last direct descendant to be directly in power at the Irvine Company, with the next chapter discussing the new leader of the family assets, an outsider named Donald Bren. Donald Bren's ascent to the pinnacle of the American real estate industry wasn't necessarily written in the stars. Born in Los Angeles in 1932, Bren's familial backdrop was as eclectic as it was influential. His father, Milton Bren, transitioned from a naval career to Hollywood film production, while his mother, Marion Newbert, stood out as a civic leader. Thus, the breakup of their marriage in 1948 and subsequent new family dynamics played a pivotal role in shaping Bren's character and ambitions. Educationally, Bren's tenure at the University of Washington culminated in a bachelor's degree in business administration and economics. And beyond academics, he was a keen athlete and even aspired to join the 1956 Olympic ski team, a dream derailed by injury. This setback, however, redirected his energies towards a successful stint in the United States Marine Corps, where he further developed the leadership qualities essential for his future business exploits. In 1958, Bren embarked on his real estate career by establishing the Bren Company, which quickly made its mark building homes in Orange County, California. His reputation for quality and innovation grew, and in 1963 he co-founded the Mission Viejo Company, pioneering one of the nation's first master-planned communities, likely inspired by the very Irvine Company he would once helm. Subsequently, Bren's journey with the Irvine Company began in 1977 when he, along with a group of investors, acquired the company for $337 million, outmaneuvering other high-profile bidders. By 1983, he had further consolidated his influence through a strategic leverage buyout, securing a 70% ownership stake. This bold maneuver paved the way for Bren to eventually become the sole proprietor of the company, a position he used to spearhead the expansion and diversification of its portfolio. Under Bren's leadership, the Irvine Company has further transformed into a model for master-planned communities, with the Irvine Spectrum Center and Newport Coast among its crowning achievements. Today, as of 2024, Bren is living large, an estimated net worth of $18 billion, making him the wealthiest real estate developer in the United States and a prominent philanthropist. Indeed, his philanthropic efforts, totaling over $1.3 billion, have significantly impacted education and environmental conservation, with his contributions endowing more than 60 chairs at the University of California, the most by any individual in the system's history. Moreover, Bren's dedication to land preservation has resulted in over 57,000 acres of the original Irvine Ranch being protected as permanent open space, parks, and trails. Thus, although he's not a direct member of the Irvine family legacy, his professional bona fides and philanthropic efforts are in line with the moves of one of California's most iconic family dynasties. And now, we'd love to see you in the comments. Are you a native of Orange County or the Los Angeles area? And what is your opinion on the city of Irvine's planning? We can't wait to hear from you. And thanks again for joining us for another episode of Old Money Luxury. Cheers, until next time.